And as they open, from what feels like a sleep, the light is bright and blinding, shines on you. What was a burning comet, now a warm, pleasant sunshine. Waking up, it feels like a dream at first, like you were just asleep as you sit beneath a large oak tree, hundreds of feet tall, possibly even hundreds of years old. At your feet, in front of you, a small river flows, and you're just in a perfect day in this countryside, picturesque scene. And as you stand up and you wake up, it feels like the events in the arena, like this entire life you've lived, is somehow a dream, and that this is somehow the true reality. As you sit and lean against that tree, and the wind kind of whips across in a cool spring type breeze, you get the smell of flowers and grass, and in the distance, warm bread. Make me a wisdom check.
Okay.
All right.
That one.
A nat 1.
Well.
Woo. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nat 1.
Yeah, okay. With the nat 1, that feeling of this being the reality that feels real to you. With the nat 1, this
is it.
You're so sure that that was a really complex and crazy dream. The Grandmaster, the Arbiter, Toddleheim, Locket, you remember it all, but like that's just, you were sleeping and now you're awake in this beautiful place. As you sit here beneath this tree, what do you do?
I think Flynry, having all these experiences, I guess I would want to know, is this is real? So I do have memory of what happened, but it feels like a dream, like it wasn't my reality. This is I've just returned to reality. Is that?
Yeah, it's such a confusing feeling. It's like when you have a dream that's so vivid,
okay,
that we wake up almost confused a bit, but it starts to subside and you remember everything. But yeah, this feels like what is true to you, what is real now.
Okay. So Flynry is leaning against this tree, and he's kind of running his fingers through the grass next to him, and is kind of taking all this in, and he's thinking to himself, I've just had the most strange dream. Now, he's gonna kind of get up and stretch, take a big, just like this has just been the longest afternoon in a nice nap by the tree, and kind of look and see what if there's a path or a fence or something to indicate a direction to go.
Yeah, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Here we go.
A 12 is the DC. So,
okay.
All right. God,
Flynry's pretty groggy here.
Just shaking it off. Like, too many drinks or something.
Wow.
As you stand up, stretching, it's still a strange feeling though, as one reality has now shifted into another, both seeming real in some way, but now the confusion of which is real still setting in, shaking that off and moving. You smell that warm bread again on the air, and it leads down a path just down the hill. You walk out of the woods. There's a small, clearly marked path. The smell of bread coming from the east, which indicates to you in your brain, having this be your reality now, that you feel like that's home, like that's the way that you need to go.
I think to Flynry, who's the theme of his journey has been home. concept of home and not feeling like he's ever had one and being kind of nomadic his whole life. It's that is something that he's totally he's in love with that. So Flynry, I will make my way toward that beautiful town, towards the smells, towards life, towards home.
Yeah, and as you walk, kind of winding through this path down by the river, following it down towards a small village, a town with houses scattered around, the stoves lit in all of these houses, fire and smoke pouring out of chimneys as the smell of food is just kind of emanating through the air as you get closer. People are out about this small town, running around, doing errands, doing chores. There's children out playing in the sun. Just everyone's enjoying a nice day and preparing for what looks like to be some sort of feast. People are carting tables out across into the town square, the middle of this village where they've just kind of cleared out what is normally maybe a market area, and are just setting up for some sort of festival, some sort of celebration. What it looks like as you walk and you start to see people that aren't immediately familiar. Make me a history check.
Okay.
With an 11, it's still a little fuzzy, but some of these faces and names start to almost come back to your memory, but it's not really like you're remembering them. It's like they were there the whole time. Again, it's that feeling of like that confusion fading. This is your reality. You're starting to just accept that this is that life. And so as people nod their heads to you and tip their hats, obviously in recognition, somehow knowing you're starting to recall different names of, names of the people through town, Gregor the baker, and looking across at the old lady Margaret, who's, whipping out a rug or something, dust flying through the air. And so you're looking at all these people kind of about their day and starting to recognize them. And as the crowds kind of move through this town, not a lot of crowds, but it's a busy small town. Everyone's really, really amped up for this feast that's going on. These memories sort of flood back to you as you're kind of reconciling that. From somewhere out in the crowd, a hand raises. Father! As a man in his young mid-20s, maybe, dressed in fine robes, signifying some sort of maybe station or learning, very fancy looking, rushes towards you with outstretched arms and comes in to give you a hug.
Flynry, in the truest state of embracing this reality, similar to when you're kind of almost conscious in a dream and have absolute confidence in everything, is just going to run with the uncertainty and assume that all his actions, that he's faultless in this place, and we'll embrace this guy and kind of chuckle, my boy. Just kind of pull him out and look at him, holding his shoulders.
Yeah, make me a history check.
That's a 2.
Okay. With a 2, the name of your son is almost there. It's on the tip of your tongue. You just can't quite get it. And as he looks at you, this look of, acceptance and joy a bit for the hug, but this small twinge of confusion still lingers on your faces. What's the matter? I haven't gotten that old, have I? You don't. I've been away a while, but you don't recognize me? Your own son? It's me, Orin. As you hear that, memories flashback of you naming your son after a fallen comrade.
Flynry is gonna let the epiphany of shock last for just a moment, and instead, without kind of letting go of that shoulder embrace, his eyes will well ever so slightly and just say, "I'll never forget you, my son. You look as handsome as ever." And just kind of almost turn him like as if to not guide him somewhere, but to usher, take me where you will kind of situation.
Yeah, and he, kind of with you, guides you through this this town as things are kind of getting ready. I was worried you weren't going to make it in time. I had to come all the way from Prexmarn, and I still beat you here. But you probably stopped to sleep, I think.
I think you know me a bit too well. I got myself dozing at the tree.
Well, it's I can't say that that people are going to be surprised by that, but things are almost ready, and everyone's ready to celebrate you tonight.
Celebrate me?
Well, yeah.
What on earth for?
It's not every day that someone retires from the Grandmaster's service.
Right. Retired?
Yeah, of course. But did you get knocked on the head on the way, or like?
Flynry is more confused, having realized that all this seems to be about him. He's not really a center of attention kind of guy. And I think that the name Grandmaster probably buzzed him a little bit the same way that Orin did. But just trying to recall what service he would have been in for someone who sounds as prominent and as important as a Grandmaster. But in the interest of not wanting to break whatever reality or illusion this happens to be, again, he's going to choose to ignore any instinct that says otherwise,
I've not fallen in my head. Just think when you're in service to the Grandmaster, that work never really ends, does it?
And just kind of walk along.
And make me a history check as you do.
Five.
Okay, with the 5 and with this spurring on of actually roll me with advantage because Orin has kind of fed you some details here. Oh yeah.
12.
While not immediately coming right back to you, the Grandmaster rings from your dream, but it also rings in this reality, and you start to get these flashes, these images of the battle for the crown, the battle you just dreamed of dying in, but you have this whole new set of memories, kind of, again, not remembering, but appearing to you as if they were always there, of winning that fight. You and Professor Stabs coming out triumphant, surviving, being awarded by the Grandmaster some of the highest honors in the Void, and having a place in her court, and being called upon from time to time to her service. These not every detail is there, but the broad strokes start to fill in as he kind of says things, and you look around, and everything just becomes more and more familiar as you're peering around, as you walk. Well, I don't know what they have planned tonight, but I know they have a lot of drinks, so that sounds like fun.
It certainly does.
And as you make your way around, Orin leads you to that square where everybody is here. There's tons of folks wandering around as this feast is just starting to begin, and things are getting going, and the day starts to kind of move on as you know, the day starts to move on as you kind of talk amongst the crowd and with your son and wander, and you're free to just wander in this space if you'd like.
Okay. I think Flynry wants to. He's gonna grab a tall wooden flagon and kind of fill it with from whatever the closest tap is. You know, embracing the too many drinks line that Orin dropped a moment ago, and you know, as he takes a sip and kind of a hearty, almost parched sip, he's gonna just look around and scan the crowd and start to see who makes eye contact and you know, doesn't shows that they would like an approach. If there anyone is in the crowd that does that.
There's already a giant man with a huge burly beard and braids in it and just tattered clothes, covered in soot and ash. You recognize him as a blacksmith in the town, as he's got his apron still on, coming straight from work, but he sees you immediately and just eyes you down. Hey, you can't start without me.
Do I recognize this person?
Roll a history check.
17.
Oh yeah, this is a man by the name of Olaf, who you have been friends with for a long time. In this village, the blacksmith has forged many of your pieces of armor and weapons over the years that you've taken out on battle, and he's a little bit of a competitive guy with a fighter's nature, but overall, pretty good dude.
Okay. So as he runs up, I'll stand there with my flag and say,
Olaf, if you worked a little less and maybe had a few more naps like me, maybe you wouldn't be so late all the time.
I'll take a sip of his drink.
Not all of us can afford to retire. Some of us have to work for a living. We can't just be handed things by the Grand Master.
Handed, you think?
I could have won that fight easily. Hands behind my back, I could have beat the Arbiter.
You know very little of the Arbiter, I think.
He knows very little of me. As he grabs a giant tankard and literally just pours it on his face, just like, not even trying. He drinks it, but it's like whatever gets in his mouth gets in there.
I think you certainly could beat the Arbiter if the contest had to do with consuming ale, my friend.
There's not a man alive that could beat me in that. Would you like to try?
I think I've got a few rounds in this old retired bones.
Okay. Drinking contest it is. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez. That's a 3.
Okay. Oh, we'll just do straight up roll here then. This is a 4.
Dang it!
As the first round goes down, you know, might have been a while since you've drank, but he knocks it back like it's. You done already?
Well,
And they'll just belch like there's, you know, and kind of look and say,
I think I've just not quite woken up from my nap. Perhaps we try again a little later.
You know what it is? You don't have the good stuff. As he lifts up his apron from under his, like lifts it up to his chest, and like in his pants he's holding his this skin as he uncorks it and just fills your empty cup with what smells like the strongest booze. You can, from your cup, you can smell it all the way up here. That'll set you right.
Olaf, if I wanted to drink oil, I think I could go find a deposit for that.
Yeah, well, the oil wouldn't be as smooth.
All right, then. Well, here's to you, my friend, in all of your exploits and wherever the heck you got all of this. I don't think I want to know.
Well, I'll stop taking your time. You probably have a lot of people that want to talk to you. You're such a busy and important man. As he takes that skin and just chugs it and kind of like walks away, trying to laugh, but like gurgling because he doesn't quite stop drinking while he's laughing. As he wanders off, and the night, as you talk to Olaf, and more and more people, not a ton of people approach you in a serious manner, but more of just a lot of more head nods or saying hi, welcome home, those kind of things. As you wander around in the night, it starts to pick up. Everyone sits down for the feast, and the food just smells incredible. It's every kind of food that anyone could make. It's a huge potluck style. Everyone's brought something from the village, and all these good foods and desserts and drinks are being passed around as music is being played in the corner by a small band. As people are just having a good time chatting, and the night starts to pick up, starts to move on, and somewhere in the middle of this feast, Orin, your son, stands up and clanks his glass with a dagger. I don't know how they do this in fantasy settings. How do they toast? But you know what I mean? He signifies,
he gets everybody's attention.
Yeah, it gets everyone's attention. And he stands at the end of this table, still dressed, very smartly in these robes and looking like some sort of politician almost. And you can almost remember that it's kind of something in that vein as what he's in Prexmarin working on. Even at an age of his mid-20s, already you start to remember an accomplished politician as in a lot of ways very similar to his father, but in a lot of ways very different. As he stands and raises a glass. And, well, I think we all know why we're here. A celebration of my father. I'm glad that everyone could come and break bread with us. I'm glad to be here. Wasn't easy getting in here all the way from Prexmar, and as he's trying to show off a little bit for his friends that grew up here and never left home. But on a more serious note, you've earned this. You've taught me many things in my life. Some of them I listened to. Most of them I probably didn't, but at least a few stuck in. I'm doing okay. As he raises that toast, but you are one of the best leaders and men and examples that a son could ever have. And I am honored that you're my father, and I wish you a happy retirement. As he cheers to you and raises that glass, and everyone else as well, cheersing and drinking, and Olaf begins to stand up, and I would like to say something. Good job. As he sits back down.
Okay.
And eventually, and is there anything you want to do here in this space as you're eating, as the toasts are made and things are progressing?
Progressing along, I think as the night's gone, we're gonna assume that this whole time Flynry has been indulging himself. He's been winning the contest against Olaf or not. Drinking has never been off the table for the duration of this feast, and maybe as the toasts kind of wind down and the conversations are quieting and everybody's kind of interacting it, Flynry is going to test the bounds of his new reality.
Okay.
And in the interest of a little bit of liquid courage and this kind of this thriving evening with his son, he's going to look over to Orin, and
what you said tonight was one of the nicest things I've ever had someone say to me, and I thank you for that. I'm curious. Did your mother not come?
Oh no, she's here somewhere. She was just here a moment ago. Actually, I don't. Roll me a perception check.
It's a nat 1, baby. On a hot streak tonight.
Woo! You don't you remember she was just sitting right here at the table. You don't remember?
Flynry in kind of a maybe a tipsy kind of stupor / almost panic is very afraid of being wrong in this new place. And is going to start kind of looking around, and when none of the faces that none of the female faces that would look that are around him make a kindly held eye contact or you know, kind of make that connection, he's going to look back to Orin and say,
I must have just missed her. She's probably stepped out for a breath of fresh air or something.
Are you sure that you're all right? You're being very strange today.
Yeah, I promise you I'm fine. It's just there's a lot of new aspects of life with retirement, and I've had maybe a little bit too much of Olaf's mixtures, and you know how he is. He's a little heavy-handed on the pouring.
He certainly is, and don't let him give you the good stuff. It's pretty much just straight fuel.
he's going to just sorrowfully look and...
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, I'll let you wander around and have a good time. And if I see Mother, then I'll send her your way. But I don't know where she's gone off to. I'll go find her. As he wanders off away from you to go find his mother. Roll me a history check.
12.
As he mentions this and wanders off, you remember a name as you're thinking about a wife and a son, and the name that just rings in your head is Lillian. As this name just rings, and there's a familiarity to it, and the memory of that wife begins to appear in your mind again. What does she look like? What is Flynry's types?
I think Flynry's got a kind of a bit of a Beauty and the Beast kind of classic, where he's this kind of hulking, linebacker-esque, beard and longer hair, and he's a very impressive stature, and I think that for whatever reason, maybe out of either envy or just the sheer principle of opposites attracting, he's probably has this very petite Belle-like wife who somehow they work, they have this relationship that no one would have expected, but that in his mind has overcome their obvious dissimilarities in physicality.
And as you remember that name and you think about what she looks like, these images start flashing to you from across the crowd as the lights fade in the sky and these magical lanterns begin to light everywhere, floating around, hovered by the town's mages. A woman in a green dress on the dance floor in the middle begins to catch your eye as you notice it's this woman from your memories, your wife Lillian, that you are now seeing as if for the first time, but also for the 1,000th time. A familiarity and a newness all kind of intertwined as this reality sets in, this piece of information sets in. And as you've been drinking and kind of stumbling around, it's almost like one of those kind of rub your eye situations to see, is this real? Roll me a Constitution check, saving throw.
That's a hot 2.
The good stuff is getting to you.
Yeah, baby.
Your really feeling it. Do you make a move to approach this woman? Do you try to get to her at this point?
I'd like to think that Flynry is, if this is a banquet or a feast for him, I'd like to think that there's like a head table and that he's kind of behind it, and that means that the dance floor would be on the other side. And if he sat kind of in the middle, that would be quite the journey around a very long table, down probably a couple of stairs from a pedestal area, and then into kind of a dance floor pit through a crowd of people. I think he is going to he wants to observe more than anything, and kind of try to take in this person, as he's feeling a little uneasy about, a little less confident than he has been for the day.
Okay.
Based on the interaction between him and Orin a moment ago.
Yeah, and as you sit there at this head table and wait, she continues to dance in here. It's a very festive and lively dance as people have begun drinking even more and more, and we're moving into the later hours of the evening. Locking arms with different individuals and swinging around and dancing, and there's a lightheartedness to her nature, a playfulness. You notice just a fun, an air of fun around her as people want to come and dance and laugh with her. You see her, talking and joking and laughing. Very personable, very outgoing person that's just moving around this dance floor effortlessly.
I think Flynry, as he takes kind of all that in and sees the maybe the vision of his wife builds in his mind, and almost maybe feels more complete having seen kind of this idealized version of this person. I think he's going to start to make his way towards the dance floor.
All right. Yeah. As you do, make me a dexterity saving throw. Okay.
16.
16, yeah. As you move, even though you've drank a lot and you were feeling groggy a minute ago, you feel a little bit invigorated, like kind of re-energized as you move through this dance floor, like it's a battlefield, just dodging every drunk person, dancing and swaying through here, moving with a purpose now to your wife as she looks up at you and from across the dance floor makes eye contact, and just smiles, doesn't say anything, but approaches you holding out a hand to dance.
Flynry doesn't know how to dance, but will not pass up on this opportunity, and is going to fumble through it.
Roll me a dexterity or a performance check. Your choice.
$12.
If you couldn't dance in the other reality, you're not terrible here.
Okay.
You surprisingly, maybe it's her leading you, maybe it's just the moments, maybe you're just a better dancer here, but you feel pretty good. Things are going well as you dance and you spin through the night, still not really talking. She just is, looking at you, smiling, just happy to be in the space with you. As you dance and these memories even more flood back as you're standing there with your wife, memories of being young and the time after the battle for the crown and the Grandmaster's service and the wife and moving to the countryside and having your son Orin. All of these things flood back to you. And you just have this feeling of like bliss. This is, everything that you could hope for, what anyone could ever hope for. And you just have this awesome feeling of you feel complete, you know, that nothing in your life has ever been or felt this easy. Nothing's ever been this perfect. And as you continue to dance, your wife smiling at you and the music playing softly, she leans into your ears and whispers, "And it never will." As in your arms, your wife begins to crumble, a crooked smile now on her face, as in your hands, pieces of her body fall apart into sand, blowing in the wind. Entire buildings around you, people screaming, running, and sand everywhere as it just fills around you now. The sky grows black, the sun darkens, and everything around you now is just a blowing desert of green sand. Everywhere you look, you are now alone in this place.